Welcome to Real Takes
and Movie Breaks.
I'm Kimberly.
I'm Michael.
And today we are reviewing the film Drop. This will be our spoiler review. So if you don't want spoilers, click the link in the description below where we won't give any spoilers away. In this review, we will go into depth about what we liked, what we didn't like, and why. We will critique the film with a little more constructive criticism and perhaps offer suggestions for improving the film, our professional filmmaker insights. So would you like to start?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, wait. I'm getting a text message.
What's wrong?
Oh,
Is everything okay?
It's nothing. Oh, yeah, I'm just a little nervous.
You seem upset. You seem a little preoccupied. Are you sure that you want to be doing this right now?
I haven't done this in a while. Where did my watch go? I dropped my watch.
Where was the last place you had it?
I must have left it in the bathroom. I'll be right back.
What's this? Is this her watch?
I got you a tequila shot.
Oh. Found your watch.
Okay, so I'm getting these drops, these
text
messages.
Looks like you didn't lose your watch at all. Looks like you've been lying to me this whole time. What's going on?
Don't leave. Just kidding.
Oh. I like the sort of the setup. I like the filmmaking of the movie. I think that it has some fun sort of suspense building things throughout. The dialogue and everything is sort of predicated on putting this woman in this position where she's in an inescapable situation on a date. Sort of the premise of the film, and that she's getting orders from this DigiDrop. I've never even heard of DigiDrop.
I don't think it's a real app that it exists, but I like that it is an app that seems very possible.
Yeah.
Like it seems like an app like this could exist.
Sure, it seems like it could exist. The logistics around getting her these messages, also the fact that she has all these security cameras with her son. Check your security. So there's security cameras, but she can't call the police. Like if she does anything to break this assailant who's coming after her, demanding that she do these crazy things, then her son's going to die. So we go through a series of sequences that build up to her kind of being ordered to kill the guy she's on the date with poison. Meanwhile, she's trying to figure out who in the restaurant is giving her the DigiDrops, that's giving her these orders, right? So we are kind of doing a whole whodunit thing. We're like, oh, it's the waiter. Oh, it's that guy she keeps bumping into. Oh, it's the piano player. It's the bartender. We're going through all of these people trying to figure out who it is. Oh, it's the date. The date's up to something. He's no good.
Everyone's a suspect.
Everyone's a suspect. But the whole time she's getting these text messages. It's preoccupying her because she has to follow these orders to save her son. The whole film, in my view, is a big commentary on people being preoccupied with their phones and not connecting with each other. So the movie sort of relies on a little bit of a gimmick of she actually is on a date with this guy, and they do kind of end up having a connection as the film progresses. And I think that's probably what I like most about it, was that it sort of theatrically is crafting a chemistry between the two leads while she's seriously preoccupied with her phone and trying to solve this mystery.
I can very much relate to the main character going on a first date after not being on a date for a while and having anxiety about that. I feel like a lot of women can relate to that feeling. Now, her anxiety is on a different level because she was in an abusive relationship, and whether you've been in a really abusive relationship or just a toxic relationship, I feel like a lot of women can relate to her. And I also like how it starts, the movie starts showing the epitome of the abuse and how horrifying it is. And then there's an interesting cut there where we don't see how her ex dies, whether she shoots him or he shoots himself. So I do think it's interesting how they leave that up to our imagination at first. And then next we see time has passed, and now she's a counselor, and she's helping other women find strength after an abusive relationship. So we already really like her because she's overcome hardship and she's doing something really noble and really good with her life. So we really care about her character. And I think any good writing, if it's good writing, you have to give the audience a reason to care about her character. So that's why I felt invested from the beginning. And she's also a great actress. And I think the way she was directed was really nice. So I was on board from the beginning and just imagining myself in her situation with this guy, not knowing if she can trust him at first because he's late. And then if you see the trailer, you kind of know a little what to expect. So I had fun trying to predict who in this high-end restaurant might be the culprit sending her these crazy texts, because she bumps into someone. So we wonder, oh, is that the guy? Oh, is this creepy guy with his blind date the guy? Oh, is it the bartender? Is it... So I had fun kind of trying to figure all of that out. Is it the date? Is it him? I didn't really suspect it was him because I thought that would be too obvious. But I think the writing does a great job at keeping us guessing, keeping us on our toes, and really invested and caring about the character. Now, to your point, I agree that parts of it are really, really far-fetched. I like some of the devices, some of the ways she tries to escape by writing the lipstick on the dollar bill. I thought that was kind of clever. The way she attempts to escape, and especially when she figures out who it is, I think at that point it starts to get kind of campy and just totally far-fetched, but it was still fun to watch. Like, for instance, to your point, it is kind of lazy. Oh, she just didn't really pour the poison in there. I thought the chemistry between the two actors was really great. And I thought the most fun thing to watch was actually, I started to root for the two of them to actually, like each other and connect. And watching her try to hide what was really going on, we were really I was really rooting for them to get together. So it was rewarding at the end when they did get together. However, like that whole moment where the bad guy flies out the window and then she falls and then he pulls her in, I was like, okay, it's getting really, really far-fetched. But I mean, other than that, I think there's definitely some good messaging in there about, not being a victim and finding strength and moving on from your past. And I do wish, though, that she had outsmarted the bad guy in a more clever way. Do you have any suggestions for an example of how the ending could have been more satisfying to you?
So I think the best route they could have gone is she figures out who the bad guy is, and the bad guy doesn't know that she's figured out who he is. Mm-hmm. I think that's like the way to start. And then the bad guy figures out that she's figured out who he is. And then she doesn't know that she's figured out who he is. But then something reveals to her that he's figured it out. And then she has to do something drastic. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, I think you have something really cool that could happen.
One, I would have more moments where the two of them are actually connecting. So I like that the film was fast-paced and it wasn't too long. However, I think what was missing was more connection at first. I feel like if their date could have been a little more normal at first, and then we start to realize, okay, these two have something real worth rooting for, then it would have been more enjoyable, because she instantly gets the text right when he sits down. And so there's no like normal date ever. And she's constantly leaving him. So they don't have hardly any like regular, natural, pleasant conversation until the very, very end of the film. So I think if there was just a little more normal date before the date starts to go crazy, I think that would have improved the film a little bit. And I also think, so I understand that she has to somehow tell the bad guy, okay, she has to make it look as if she's poisoned her date in order for the bad guy to give the order to the guy that's in her house to leave, to let them live, which is very far-fetched. But she has to make it look like she's poisoned her date.
Right.
So she could have done it a little differently. But I think that's why your idea might have not worked, because she has to make it look like she poisoned the date, and then she has to say, okay, tell your guy that, like to leave and to let my child live.
Well, there's so many things you could do. I mean, there's a million things. She could have figured out a way to let the date know what was going on, so he could pretend to get poisoned. Or something.
That's what I was going to say. I think that once she figured out who the bad guy was, there was some way she could communicate, because once she knows who the bad guy is, all she has to do is get out of his view and then communicate to her date what's going on, and then her and her date could work together to like fake the whole thing, and then she could poison him. We didn't really need the action sequence, was just kind of silly to me. I could have done without all of that.
That's what I'm saying, though. They couldn't come up with what we're saying.
Yeah.
Instead, they were like, we just have to have him start shooting everybody.
Yeah.
Also, like, he tells the guy to kill the little boy. How long does it take her to get home?
Yeah, the timing of her
minutes?
Driving home, like, it would have taken her way longer to drive home.
30 minutes to get home.
Yeah, we didn't need all of that.
The killer could kill the little boy in less time than 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it didn't make sense how he's like shooting the bed all over the bed, and then somehow the little boy gets away. We
don't see how the little boy got away.
Yeah, we don't see how the boy gets away. So there's definitely some flaws in the final act.
It reminds me of Trap.
Yeah.
After they leave the concert.
Yeah. Great premise, great execution up until the final act, I think. But overall, I still found it entertaining. I don't regret watching it. So comment below if you've seen the movie. Maybe watching a review helped you process it and think about it in a different way. If you have any other ideas, like how do you think the resolution could have been better, comment below. I'd love to chat with you. And if there are any films you'd like us to review and analyze, please let us know. And in the meantime, keep it real.
Have great takes.